Have you ever heard of a man who didn't die but was taken directly to heaven? Or stories of giant beings, the offspring of angels and humans, who once roamed the earth? These aren't tales from a modern fantasy novel. They come from one of the most mysterious and controversial ancient texts ever discovered, the Book of Enoch. Today, we're diving deep into the world of Enoch, the great-grandfather of Noah, and his incredible journey. We'll explore his prophecies, his encounters with celestial beings, and the astonishing story of the Nephilim. So, grab your metaphorical torches, because we're about to venture into some ancient, shadowy corridors of history. First, who was Enoch? The Bible mentions him briefly in Genesis. It says Enoch walked faithfully with God. Then he was no more, because God took him away. Just a couple of lines, but they spark so much curiosity. What does it mean that God took him away? This is where the Book of Enoch comes in. This ancient Jewish text, which isn't part of the standard biblical canon for most Christian and Jewish traditions, fills in the gaps. It presents itself as Enoch's own account of his life and the divine secrets revealed to him. The book is divided into several parts, but the most famous section is the Book of the Watchers. This is where things get really wild. It tells the story of a group of 200 angels, called the Watchers, who were sent to Earth to, watch over humanity. But they did a lot more than just watch. Led by an angel named Samiaza, they became infatuated with human women. The book describes how these Watchers made a pact. They descended on Mount Hermon and swore an oath to take human wives and have children with them. This was a massive transgression, a violation of the divine order. They were supposed to be spiritual beings, separate from the physical world. But they gave in to their desires, and the consequences were catastrophic. From these forbidden unions, a new race was born, the Nephilim. The Book of Enoch describes them as giants, towering figures with immense strength and an even more immense appetite. These weren't just gentle giants from a fairy tale. They were destructive. They consumed all of humanity's resources. When food ran out, they turned on the humans themselves, and eventually, even on each other. The world descended into chaos, violence, and corruption, all because of the Watchers' sin and the rampage of their giant offspring. But the Watchers didn't just father the Nephilim. They also taught humanity forbidden knowledge. Things like sorcery, the art of making weapons, cosmetics, and astrology. Imagine one angel named Ezel taught men how to make swords and shields, and women how to use makeup and precious stones. It sounds a bit like a Pandora's box of technology and knowledge being opened all at once, leading humanity down a path of warfare, vanity, and godlessness. This is where Enoch's role becomes central. As chaos engulfed the earth, the cries of humanity reached the heavens. God saw the corruption and chose Enoch as his messenger. Enoch, described as a righteous scribe, was tasked with a daunting mission: to go to the fallen Watchers and pronounce their judgment. Picture this: a mortal man, Enoch, ascending to the heavens, traveling through celestial realms, and standing before these powerful, rebellious angels to deliver God's verdict. The book gives a vivid account of his journey. He sees awe-inspiring and terrifying things: celestial palaces, rivers of fire, and the places where fallen angels were imprisoned. Enoch confronts the Watchers and tells them their fate. There will be no peace for them. They are to be bound for eternity, and their giant children, the Nephilim, will be destroyed. The spirits of the Nephilim, after their physical bodies perish, are destined to remain on earth as evil spirits, causing trouble until the final judgment. The Watchers plead with Enoch to intercede on their behalf, but their doom is sealed. Following this judgment, God tells Enoch about the next phase of his plan to cleanse the earth: a great flood. This flood, which we all know from the story of Noah's Ark, wasn't just a random natural disaster in this telling. It was a direct response to the corruption brought about by the Watchers and the Nephilim. It was a way to wash the world clean of their taint and start over with Noah, a righteous man from Enoch's own bloodline. So, what are we to make of all this? The Book of Enoch provides a detailed alternative backstory to the flood narrative in Genesis. It answers the question of why the world had become so wicked that it needed to be destroyed. It wasn't just human sin. It was a cosmic rebellion with tangible, monstrous consequences. The influence of the Book of Enoch is fascinating. Although it's not in most Bibles, it was clearly very popular in the centuries leading up to and during the time of Jesus. In fact, it's directly quoted in the New Testament, in the Epistle of Jude. Jude writes about Enoch's prophecy concerning the Lord is coming with thousands of his holy ones to execute judgment. This shows that early Christians were familiar with and respected the book. Many scholars believe that the ideas in the Book of Enoch about angels, demons, judgment, and the Messiah had a profound impact on the development of early Christian and Jewish thought. It filled a theological void, offering explanations for the origin of evil and the mechanics of the spiritual world. Of course, the big question remains: is any of this true? Is the Book of Enoch a genuine revelation, or is it a brilliant piece of ancient religious fiction? That's a debate that has raged for centuries. Skeptics would argue it's a product of its time, a way for ancient people to explain things they didn't understand, like natural disasters or the existence of evil. The story of giants could have been inspired by the discovery of large fossil bones, like those of mammoths or dinosaurs, which people might have mistaken for giant human skeletons. Believers, on the other hand, take it more literally. They see it as a lost piece of scripture that holds vital truths about our spiritual history. For them, the Nephilim were real physical beings, and the story is a cautionary tale about the dangers of forbidden knowledge and stepping outside the divine order. Some even connect the story to modern UFO phenomena, suggesting the watchers were extraterrestrial beings. Regardless of where you stand, the story of Enoch and the Nephilim is undeniably compelling. It's a grand, epic tale of cosmic drama that unfolds on Earth. It has angels falling from grace, hybrid giants terrorizing the world, a righteous man who walks with God, and a plan for divine cleansing and redemption. It paints a picture of a prehistoric world far more complex and supernatural than we might imagine. It suggests that the boundary between the spiritual and physical realms was once much thinner, with angels and humans interacting in ways that shaped the very course of history. The Book of Enoch challenges us to think bigger, to consider that there might be more to our ancient past than what is written in our standard history books, or even our standard scriptures. It's a text that has been hidden, debated, and rediscovered, and it continues to captivate anyone who dares to read it. So, what do you think? Were the Nephilim real? Was Enoch a prophet who traveled to heaven? Or is this all just an incredible ancient myth? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your perspective on this. Thanks for joining me on this journey into one of history's greatest mysteries. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you won't miss our next exploration into the fascinating and the unknown. Until next time, stay curious.